All right, all right, all right. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday, and welcome to Girl Your Money Matters. Listen, we got a full house tonight. You know how we do, we know how
Hey,
you do. Hey, y'all, hey.
hey, Nicole.
Hey,
I am.
hey.
Hey, I got a house full of beautiful ladies. We do hope that DJ Tony will chime in, but if not, he knows for sure that the ladies are holding it down. I am the Nicole Johnson, founder and CEO of Girl Your Money Matters, affectionately known as The Gym, where we have all sorts of exercises to get you financially fit. I am so excited to be here with you guys. If you can't tell, woo, woo. All right, all right. So, as you know, I am always coming to you guys with any type of topic that impacts your money. So before we get started, because tonight is no different. Before we get started, let me always, as always, say thank you and introduce Miss Paulette of the Brownstone Worldwide, where we are changing the narrative of our Black and Brown community. Hey, Paulette.
Hey, y'all. How you doing? Nicole,
Oh,
this is
oh.
awesome. This is going to be a great topic this evening. Thanks to everybody that's going to be tuning in. And if you are checking out the replay, go ahead and let us know by hitting replay. And guys, don't forget, her show also airs on kccrthebrownstone.com. You can also go ahead and download the KCCR app. Once this is done, you guys are going to be able to hear it on Wednesday at 1 p.m. So,
Boop, boop. I'm repeatable. Hey. Thank you so much, Paulette, for this platform. As I tell you guys that in 30, 40, 50 years, if our narrative is still being told incorrectly, it's our fault because this
yeah.
platform allows us to be able to change the narrative. It's not on them, it's on us. So tonight I brought some beautiful ladies on to help explore this topic of seasonal depression. Is it a thing? Okay. And so let's say we're going to start off and introduce Leanne Dulce of Wake Up Happy Sis. She is our resident self-care strategist. Hey, Leanne.
Hey, Nicole. Hey, Paulette. Hey, Bridget. Hi,
Yes, yes, yes,
world
yes.
out there. Hey, to the world out there. I'm also your chief self-love coach over here. You know how we do.
Hey,
Yes,
girl.
yes. And we have first time appearing on this show, but I had the privilege and the honor of being a guest on her podcast, Miss Bridget Brown Jackson. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey.
Tell us a little bit about you, Bridget.
Hey everybody. I'm a behavioral wealth strategist. I love talking all things behavior. And so when Nicole was talking about this topic of talking about seasonal depression, is it a thing? Oh, I couldn't wait to talk about it. So I'm really excited. And these are my girls, all three of y'all. Hey
Hey,
girl, hey.
That's right.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. So before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, all of you are watching out there in TV land, on radio land, on Facebook land, on LinkedIn land, I'm going to give my own personal disclaimer. All right. So we are having an adult conversation
Yeah.
on a serious topic, but we're going to always bring some humor into it because we're dealing with enough serious issues. But this is the thing for me, me only. Don't be inboxing Paulette talking about, I can't believe she said that. This is mine. Okay.
Yeah.
Seasonal depression impacts people differently. Some are not, some are. For me, it wasn't a thing. And this is when I tell you guys, especially for those of you who are coming from my community of Girl Your Money Matters here on Facebook, you have to be careful about who you let speak things into you and over you.
That's right.
Okay. Because there was a time when I thought I was suffering from seasonal depression and happened to mention it to I want to say it was my pastor at the time. And after I got through being raked over the coals, I had to realize that that's not what it was. It was an excuse to be wilding out or not doing what I was supposed to do. So that was the impact for me. Okay. And
Mm.
sometimes it is the impact for some people, but for others, it's a real thing. All right, so ladies, we're gonna get into it, and I'm just gonna do like a round robin. We're gonna do a round robin, and we jump in and we jump out. Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me start with this. Have you all heard of seasonal depression?
Yes,
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
absolutely.
Okay. Have any of you experienced seasonal depression?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I'm from Seattle, so there's seasonal depression, and then there's seasonal affective disorder, right?
Ooh.
So you have people that have different levels of stuff. A lot of times people may not know they have bouts of seasonal depression
Right.
because it's normalized to them. It's what they're used to, right?
Mhm.
And you know until you go somewhere and you're like, what is this weird feeling? Is this happiness? And I didn't know that this was a thing, right? But until you go somewhere, when you're in that period and you go somewhere and it's sunny and it's bright and it's engaging and you feeling active, you didn't realize you were depressed. So a lot of people may not even know they're dealing with seasonal depression.
Absolutely. Yeah.
that is definitely a thing because, with the time change, your days have gotten shorter and your nights have gotten longer. So it's very possible that if we're dealing with things already, as such as anxiety and already on a normal and regular basis, to turn around and have that same issue not so much in the summertime because that's usually when people are out and about. You may be traveling, you may be spending more time with family and friends. But in the wintertime, folks trying to stay home and be warm. And so that's when the isolation comes in. And we want to thank DJ Tony Sanchez for joining us. Can't help it.
Tony.
He's on the mend. He is feeling better. He is back in the saddle.
Yes.
So as I tell you guys all the time, it is always good to have Tony here with us because he brings in that male perspective, and I love it because he was raised with a house full of sisters, right? But he's got that manly perspective and some wisdom that we can all glean from. So welcome, DJ Tony. Welcome, welcome. So tonight we're talking about seasonal depression and just how impactful it can be on one's life. So, Bridget, your thoughts on the topic?
Definitely. I've had bouts with it, and I did call it seasonal depression. I didn't understand it though. And mine was wrapped more not around the actual seasons, like the 4 seasons that we experienced. Mine was wrapped around schooling. And so when I graduated from college, I would have issues where I would have anxiety or I would have things that was going on. I'm like, what's going on with me? I didn't understand it was the absence of me taking classes. And so around the time that I was taking finals and things used to be so hectic, when it wasn't hectic, I was looking around and couldn't understand it until somebody helped me put a name on it to understand it so that I could go through it, so I could look forward to it. And it didn't last long, a couple of years, but as I saw it, I understood, oh, this is what's wrong with me. Because normally during this time, I was moving a mile a minute, and now I'm not. I'm moving at a slower pace. So that kind of helped me. And even now, my thing is connected with grief. But that's a whole nother level. We'll talk about that later. Right now, the Christmas season is bringing on some things, but at the same time, it's bringing on happiness and peace.
Yes. And you know what? I think just in your narrative and mine, both, it took someone from the outside to help us understand what's going on with us personally.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I say you have to have an amazing circle of people around you to help keep you accountable, to keep you grounded. And this topic came up because in my community, I asked them questions about what is happening with you that's keeping you from reaching your goals, what's keeping you from sitting down and doing the things, or let me say it like this, what's keeping you functioning your dysfunction. They don't like it when I say that because it's like, oh, she asked a question and slapped me at the same time. Okay, hey, but I slapped out of love. I slapped out of love. But because we've created a safe environment where they can be honest about things that are going on in their lives, these are the types of things that I get that where they say I'm not motivated. I don't know how to keep myself motivated. I don't know how to get motivated. And I don't know how to hold myself accountable for the things that I want to accomplish. And so it's very easy for me to fall off track. And so in having this discussion with someone else, we talked about seasonal depression. And what I'd like to try to do is tie all of that back to your money, right? Tie it all back to your money. So I'm going to let Bridget is like me. I'm a visual learner. I need to see stuff, and then I need to actually put my hands on it and touch it, twist and turn it. So she has brought with her a very beautiful piece of evidence. That's what I'm calling. That's the law in me. It's evidence. It's not a picture. It's evidence.
Evidence.
I didn't do it.
It's the fact.
I don't know, but it is. It's going to be. She's got a presentation, and let me click. Paulette, click the right one. Which one I click? Look, I see y'all all over the place. Hold on, you guys. Let me make sure I bring. There we go. So, Bridget, let's share your presentation with us.
So I just wanted everybody, as I said, I'm a behavioral wealth strategist. And one of the things that I do is I help people understand their behavior preference. We have 4 different behavior styles. Now we have people that are people oriented, people that are pace oriented, people that are procedure oriented, or people that are problem oriented. And depending on which one you are, is going to help you understand what motivates you. And so for people-oriented people, you're motivated by being free. You don't like restrictions. You're very vision-oriented, and you live in the what could be because you're so optimistic. For people that are pace-driven, those are the people that are the kumbaya folks. They're stable, and they love interpersonal connections. And then you have people that are procedure-oriented, and so they really like excellence and expertise. And then you have people that are problem oriented, and those are your very assertive type people. They want to get the results. And so significance and doing what's important is what motivates them. And so what I was sharing, and I was talking to Nicole earlier about, is that the fact that depending on which one of those are your personality preferences, the one that drives you the most, you might be during, the time that you think it could be seasonal depression, when really is you're not being motivated by what motivates you. And so again, if you are people oriented, you love the optimism. And so if you're not able to be very optimistic, you aren't able to show what, your superpower. You can pull back, and then now you're dealing with that, and you don't have a name for it. You don't know what it is. And all it is you're not being motivated. The same thing with people who are pace driven. People who are pace driven, they're very stabilizing folks. They're loyal, they're patient. Those are the friends that, the ones you say you'll ride or die. Those are those type of people, but they have a thing that they need. And so if they're not able to show their stability, and they're not able to make those connections and feel wanted and valued, then there you go. You might have some issues. The same way with people who are, again, very systematic. If their expertise is not needed, then they might, tend and lend to be that way. And then the problem-oriented type people, again, are very much, they're born leaders. Those are the ones we call born leaders. It's about 12% of the population that that's how they prefer to behave. Well, again, if they don't feel important, then now you might start seeing some tendencies towards what you might think and look at as a seasonal depression. And so I just wanted to put like another spin on it, for us to understand that we all have behavior preferences. We behave in one of these 4 areas dominantly. We have all 4 of them, but one of them is going to be the one that we dominate in. People-oriented people are about 30% of the population. Pace-oriented are about 30% of the population. Procedures are about 28% of the population, and problem-solving driven people are about 12% of the population. So we're different, and so we have to understand that too as well. So that's what I wanted to, bring to the table.
Well, thank you, because as I listen to you, I'm like, I'm a little of that, little of that, little of that. Paulette, did you see any of yourself in those descriptions?
All I'll just a smidgen. I think I'm more I'm motivated by I think pace and procedures more so than anything, and then people is third for me. But I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of the initial conversation itself, and that we're talking about seasonal depression. I am from Wisconsin, where the sun shines 3 months out of the year, right?
Mhm.
And so, because of that, I found myself sad a lot. That was what brought me to the South. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're moving to the ATL because of X, Y, Z." No, 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 no. I found myself alive when I was in the South, and it was because I got more sunshine. I got that vitamin D in my system, and I was able to actually come alive and thrive. It was like a flower being given extra water, and so for me, I can definitely say I experienced it myself personally. I didn't want to get up out the bed. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to take care of my daughter. It was really, really bad. And so I think one of the things that we definitely need to talk about when we're talking about changing the narrative before I hand it back over to you is the fact that in our community, it's something that we don't want to talk about, right? It's like a stigma. We would rather talk about our sisters and brothers who are experiencing it and calling them things like lazy, like so sorry. Somebody
Yeah.
needs to don't take them kids from her. Instead of recognizing that it may be something that is clinically wrong and getting them the additional support that we need for them. And I'm finding that, now that we're grown now, we're adults, we're having these conversations, we're not so afraid to talk about it as much. I just wish that we would talk about it a lot more, because that's what happened to me. I was sorry, I was lazy, I was this. The minute I came to Atlanta, I opened up like a flower.
Yep.
Mhm. And it kind of goes to the stigmatism of not being able to. We don't go to therapy.
No.
That's not what we do. What happened in this house stays in this house.
Stays in this
Those
house.
types of things and stigmatisms and stereotypes from our past, our parents' past, our grandparents' past. You deal with those things in house, but a lot of us know we're not equipped to do that. We are not equipped to deal with it in house, because if we were, we wouldn't be having the problems that we're having. We were all created different. We all have a skill set. Everybody on this stage has a different skill set. I could go to each one of you for something that I can't do. All right. Each one of y'all got a lane. Right. And so when we start trying to cross in those lanes, we have problems. And instead of saying, I need help, we sit and suffer. Okay. Yeah. We sit and suffer. We see more of this stage, even for our teenagers, our young adults, the suicide rate amongst them. Listen, I'm 50. When I was in high school, it was a rare occurrence. It
Very, very.
But it was a rare occurrence. Today, it's like I don't watch the news.
Right.
I don't want to watch the news because I don't want to hear if it's gone from mass school shootings to suicide, bullying, and people committing suicide because of bullying. So now the children are dealing with that. And now the adults are dealing with their form of depression, and the kids are dealing with their issue. We all jacked up. And as a parent, if you can't get yourself together, you can't focus on your child. Your child needs you to make sure that they're okay, but you can't do that because you're not okay. So seasonal depression itself, it all taps into how we live and how we survive. And as time has changed, the days are shorter. Right, they're much shorter. It's getting dark. It's getting light later, and it gets dark earlier. Okay, yep. So what I want to do is actually talk about some things that you would say to someone to help them stay accountable, to doing better, and motivated. Right? Because this is a time when people are struggling. It's the holiday season, right? Some of us have dealt with loss, because there was a time I was focused on a period from Thanksgiving to Christmas, actually to New Year's. It was a loss. I was going through, that was the start of the downfall of my marriage. And for years, those days when I didn't want to see Thanksgiving to the end of the New Year coming. And there's only one way to avoid it coming, right? Is not be here. But it was because it's coming.
Wow.
Tomorrow they will lay my father-in-law to rest. Okay. So this is a time of year people are dealing with the first year of a loved one that they lost. It's all kinds of things going on. So I just want to go around the table and say, what would you offer someone? What advice, what tool, what tip would you offer someone to hold themselves accountable for motivation? I'll start with you, Paulette.
That's kind of hard. And I'll tell you why, because I see it a lot, especially online. Unfortunately, we're using the platform to express our emotions rather than seeking the help that we need. And that's difficult for me because I understand that a lot of people don't even understand that when they're typing those things out and they're saying things online, we can't get to you in time. So this one is a little bit difficult for me because I'm seeing it a lot with loved ones and with people that I know personally who are using the platform to express. I do reach out, but here's the thing. What I am like you, okay? I am not a physician of the mind, right? So I am not going to sit here and tell you what to do because I'm not in that profession and I don't profess to be. And so I walk a very fine line with that. What I do encourage people to do is if I see it or if you need to talk, I'm always a good ear, but let me also be very clear. And I'm going to be firm here because we have to be careful, even as we are loving and caring and giving individuals, we have to be careful and understand that we are not their therapist.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So that's something else. So I have to be really careful. So it's hard for me to say what I would do. I think it varies depending on the situation and the conversation and the level of severity of that depression that they're dealing with from a seasonal perspective. So I can't, it's so hard. It's such a fine line. But I think one of the things that we do in our community as well is we'll be that ear and then we take on what they left with us. And we don't know how to take it off, right? And so we deal with that a lot. Because it becomes our issue as well, especially if we're close to that person. And then we feel obligated to continue to keep in touch for whatever reason, because we want to make sure that they're okay. But now that energy is on us. And so we lay it out somewhere, so we got to be really, really careful with how we say we're going to support someone. And we need to maybe possibly find out what resources are available in their community or in their area and support them by making sure that they get to their appointments, because that's how we lose the people, because people think we're not paying attention when we really are. And folks, I'm going to say this before I pass it on. I know my time is up. Stop talking about your folks when you know they broke down.
Yes. Yes.
Stop picking up the phone and calling your homegirl talking about them.
Yes.
Stop going to Auntie and Big Mama and talking about she ain't cleaned her house. Find out why.
Yes.
Okay, I'm done.
I think Tony agreed. Yeah. Tony, you agree?
Well, I agree wholeheartedly. First and foremost, thank you, my queens. It's an honor to be here this evening, man. I'm thanking the creator for another day above ground. Paulette and Nicole, they know my situation because I just recently came from the hospital and stuff, but it's all in God's hands. I'm going to continue to do what I need to do for Tony.
Right.
But in touching on that, what Paulette said, the main thing for me is I try not to never give anybody advice. I never give anybody advice. Now, I will say I'll give you a suggestion. I would suggest that you would, go seek you some professional help, because even though I'm your friend, I'm going through some things too. And I don't want mine to overlap with yours. Then I done created another demon. You know what I'm saying? Right. So
that's good.
The bottom line is we all got to understand that we all been misinformed by misinformed people all our life. All our life we've been misinformed by misinformed people. So it don't make you no less of a person to go seek professional help, even though it wasn't, suggested so much in the family.
Right.
But you yourself know, it all starts with self anyway. Everything starts with self. You yourself, you know something going on wrong with you. Now, why would I want to go to Billy Earl and ask him? And I see what Billy Earl going through every day in his household. He can't give me no direction. He can't give me no direction. So me myself, if I came to anybody, I would be, this is my situation. This is what I'm dealing with. I don't mean to bombard you with it, but I need some help. And could you help me, please? And that's what most of us was taught not to do coming up. Ask for help.
Right. Ask for
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
That really made no sense to me growing up, because my grandmother, in her wisdom, she used to always say, "There's never a dumb question. The only dumb question is the one not asked."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it clicked with me. I was like, that make a lot of sense, because you'll never know if you don't ask.
Right.
And the problem with a lot of depression and suicide with youth today is, in my opinion, is the fact that they really don't have a way and a means to actually express themselves without ridicule. You know what I'm saying?
That's because they're talking to each other.
To each other. Right. Broke can't fix broke.
Come on now.
Broke, you can't go to somebody that's broke.
That's it.
Brokenness and thinking you gonna get fixed.
That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know, which goes back to the point of a good amount of people, a good circle. Mm-hmm. When my daughter was in high school and I had her, I started an accountability group. Hey, y'all come over after school twice a week. Let's talk about these issues I keep hearing y'all having. And so I at the first meeting, what do labor pains feel like? Miss Johnson, I ain't never been pregnant. I said, the point of me asking you that question is this: why would I come ask you about labor pains when you ain't never had them? That's the same. You keep trying to ask her and each other about how to deal with the little relationship with the little boy who stinks in the high heavens, how to deal with your homework. Why y'all asking each other? Y'all just as dumb as a box of rocks. They just laugh. But my daughter said after a couple of times of saying it, it made sense for her and for them. So yes, I 100% agree. So Leanne, your perspective, because I want to say something about when people come to you and ask for advice, but I want to hear from Leanne as well.
So this is kind of where I come from, right? A lot of times people don't feel like they have a safe space where they can share their hurt and their pain because of many reasons. It might be because they live in a family where their family is more aggressive, more doers, we don't share a lot of feelings, right? So you can't discount somebody's experience and how they grew up and how they process their trauma, right? And how they process depression and how they deal with it. It isn't a point of holding someone accountable. You can't hold somebody accountable who's hurting and who can barely get out of bed and just tell them do better. That does not work. You're invalidating their experience. You're invalidating their feelings. It's important for a person. My first thing to tell a person is, it is okay how you feel.
Yes.
Yes.
Some days, some days just sitting up in bed is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All
Absolutely.
go through depression, and it looks different on each of us.
How
I am depressed when I have depressive episodes, and I have them. Mm-hmm. But how I am is not going to be how Bridget is. It's not going to be how Paulette is, because it's colored based on who we are, our experiences that we've had in life, and our traumas that we've been through.
Yes.
Right? Brained into who we are as a part of our personality now. So how we express pain, hurt, fear, depression is going to be different. And the first thing I'm always going to do is validate somebody's feelings.
So Leanne, let me clarify one thing. When I say hold accountable, I'm speaking from a point of the person who is experiencing it or going through it. They want to know, how do they hold themselves accountable and get motivated to come out of what they're dealing with. Not accountable. Your points are very, your responses are very accurate. I agree wholeheartedly. But for someone who may be home alone, I'll give you an example. I was speaking to a young lady just the other night, and she has a teenage daughter, okay? Had not been out the house in 6 months. She's struggling with, how does she get motivated? How does she keep herself motivated? How does she keep herself accountable to keep moving forward to her goals? So your points of what you're saying is absolutely 100% validation. Everybody is entitled and they have the right to feel the way that they feel. They just gotta, sometimes it's helpful to have a guide through the process. But yes, if you're angry, you have the right to be angry. If you're feeling some depression, you have the right to feel it. Let's just find a way for you to go through it and come out on the other side. So when I say holding accountable, they're looking for, when they are by themselves, how do they keep themselves motivated because they're in a state of depression?
I mean, I think it goes back to what Bridget posted about what motivates a person. I can't give you instructions on how you keep yourself motivated. That's a part of your self-care and your wellness and your self-love journey.
Come on now, come on with, tell them again,
for yourself, right?
Yeah.
I can give you all the tips and tricks, but everything ain't gonna work for everybody.
Right.
And your self-care and your wellness and your mental health is a very personal and unique journey. And you have to figure out what motivates you, right? When I tell people, feel the feelings when you feel them,
Yeah.
Come on.
then figure out how to fight like hell to get out of them.
There you go. There you go.
We may as well just shut down. Pass the collection plate, y'all. That was a word right there. That was a word right there. But then you know what? Because as women, the issue becomes, I am so used to carrying everybody else.
Yes.
That's the problem, is that we don't have boundaries. I want y'all to write this down. I want y'all to commit this to your memory. We don't have boundaries. And even if we do, we continue to allow people. Come on. Now, Bridget, there's a part of you, and we ain't had this conversation, but Paulette and Leanne can tell you for a fact that I'm speaking from wholehearted truth at this very moment, where I set a boundary, but I continue to let somebody cross it. I continue to let somebody cross it. And it's to my detriment and their benefit. My detriment and their benefit. But I keep making the conscious choice to let them cross that boundary.
Because then you want them to be better. You want to hold out hope that they're going to this time get it right, and they're not going to hurt me this time. And they really love me, but this, but those are, again, a part of your self-love journey that you have to take and figure out what motivates you to stop them from hurting you.
Yeah. And so that's definitely our journey as women, as people, because I see Tony out here and he's always posting. He's down in Hyde Park. He checking on the seniors. But Tony needs to understand sometimes he got to check on Tony.
Yeah.
All right. Gotta check on Tony. And sometimes he got to be like, y'all know what? I'm going to love you from this couch today because I ain't moving nowhere.
Listen. And Leanne, thank you for that, because, you know, us black men need to be more understanding and supportive of our black queens in that area. You know what I'm saying? In that area. Because, see, we inadvertently do some things that causes damage and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? And don't even know it.
That's a word right there.
Yeah, and don't even know it. So when we do it and it happens, instead of coming to an understanding, we allow pride and ego to push us away from the situation. You know what I'm saying? And now I done created more havoc out of that instead of me just being honest.
Yeah.
That's the thing right there. We have to learn how to be honest with self first. If you honest with yourself and you really love yourself, you're going to stop doing things to hurt you. And when you stop hurting you, you'll stop hurting other people.
Amen.
Let me just say this, and I'd like to intercede. That is where professional support comes in. That also comes from understanding what your traumas are. One of the things that, and I'm gonna go here, and I know I'm gonna piss some people off, so get ready.
Wait a minute, let me grab you something. I gotta grab something.
Y'all go in her inbox, not mine.
Right.
Go in her inbox,
The Brownstones.
Gotta get ready to plan when we do that.
Okay, let me put that email on the bottom there. Y'all
put it in there.
Contact at thebrownstonesound.com. Okay, I need y'all to inbox me. Hello. Y'all see that at the bottom? There you go.
Right there.
I'm going to talk about this, and we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
I know, Nicole, I know this is Girl Your Money Matters, but this is so important for us to have this conversation. Listen. When we are going through the way that we are, we need to understand this is twofold. One, you got to pull the root out, folks. Find out where it comes from.
Yep.
Okay. And a lot of times we don't want to do that. You know what we do? Can I go here? Like I said,
go there.
Email. Y'all see that email at the bottom of the screen? Email me. Okay.
Well, y'all come send it to me.
That part. Send it to me. I don't care. I need y'all to come out of the church.
Ooh.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Well, yes, Lord. I'm
tired. I need y'all to come out of the church.
Yes.
And I need y'all to get y'all some professional help. Now, I did not say to leave
the church. Right.
I need you all to come off the altar because y'all been going to the altar for the same hurt for 35 years.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing changed because you didn't take the root out.
There you go.
Why you can't take the root out? Because you don't even know what it is. And the only way you're going to find out what it is you got to get some support. You got to get to somebody that's going to provide you with the resources that you need to get the clinical support you need for proper healing. Now, you can go back to church or in conjunction to church, you can pray and you can meditate and you can get the support from a healthy group of individuals who are a part of your community within the church. But I need y'all to come out the church and stop laying on that altar like that. When you and the Lord told me, no. He told you that he sent you somebody called a therapist.
Thank you.
That was given
9 times out of 10, a lot of us who have experienced church hurt. So why do you keep running back to the place where you got hurt, thinking that they can heal you? Now I'm gonna tell you this: I stumbled across. I was on the YouTube. I was on the YouTube roller coaster this morning, and I came across. I love to listen to Michael Todd. Okay, he did a whole series called The Cuffing Season. It's an 8-week season. It's an 8-week series. Wow. But series number 1, the first one I listened to this morning, and I swear Paulette heard it because she said she hit the wait a minute, hold on. She hit the nail on the head because you know what he said. Y'all steady trying to pray away stuff. Yep. You need to go to therapy.
That's right.
You need people go to therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. They go to school for years. They got hundreds of thousands of student loan debt.
Yeah.
Trying to go to school to understand what makes us work as people.
Absolutely.
And then develop processes, systems, tips, tricks, methods, all of the things to help us come about. See, when we what we do, we go down there to the doc in the box.
Yeah. Doc in the box.
Something. Where we going? To the emergency room.
Yep.
Why is it when it's something wrong up in here, we stay home like this?
Yeah.
Why we do that, Bridget?
So wait a minute. So y'all about to get me started. No,
Come on now. Come on, girl.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
I
Wait a
put
minute.
up
Hold on,
the
Bridget.
words
Bridget,
to back y'all up.
tell them what your other background is.
Y'all know I'm a preacher. So let me
Don't put that word up.
to support Paulette in what she just said, why it's so very important. Hebrews 4:12 tells us, for the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit. And so, in other words, our soul man is made up our will, our intellect, our memory, our intelligence. You know, it's that 5 part of us that we see in the natural part. But then we got our spirit too. And it said the word would divide asunder between the two. We got to understand and know when to go get that help too as well, because there's a division between the two.
Come on now.
I ain't never had a problem with going to therapy. I've been a preacher for 30 years. I have had a whole bunch of therapists, and I'm about to find me another one now. As I was sharing, you know, earlier at the beginning, I lost my dad this year, and you know, I thought, you know, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get through this. No, it ain't been happening. And I'll be honest with y'all, today was a hard day. I got up this morning. And so, Nicole, you're talking about that seasonal piece. You got to understand you. And so what do you tell that person that needs to be motivated? Number one, they got to understand, can't nobody else do it but them. So I woke up this morning and I got the most incredible husband in the whole wide world. And he is just a loving, caring person, right? And so when I showed you all those different types, he's the pace. So he's a stabilizing person. He's that S-type personality. And so he's going to be faithful. He's going to be loyal. He's a good listener. He's a helper. That's his natural inclination, right? And so he called me. He was like, well, babe, you know, what can I, it's nothing that he could do to get me this morning beyond that. I had to get myself beyond that. But I understood and knew, though, I had a lifeline to do it. So like you said, Paula, I got God, but I also got people.
Yes.
So, like I said, I don't have the therapist just of yet, but what I did was I reached out to some people that are in the lane to be able to help me. But I also understand, like that slide I showed earlier. If I can I put it back up there?
Put it back up there.
Okay, absolutely.
Like earlier, understanding who you are and what motivates you. So I'm people driven, and I was driving and I was like, you know, I don't feel needed right now. And because I didn't, I'm having those internal thoughts in my subconscious mind. Like you just said, money matters. Nicole, it's messing with my money. Come on now. I don't feel like getting up to do my work. So now my business is infected. If I don't get up and work, my children are affected. If I don't get up and work, now my grandchildren are affected.
Come on
if I
now.
don't get up and work, that passive income not coming in. So we got to understand what our motivations are. And so again, if you pace driven, you're going to be all about the people. So you still got to make sure with that. And so depending on what you are, I think earlier you were saying something, you know, people that are very problem driven, those are those born leaders. They don't need a whole lot of external motivation. They have it internally. But people and pace motivated people, they're not external. They're internal. And so they're external. They need other people to help them. But everybody don't need people to help them. So number one, we need to understand who we are. We need to understand when it's time to go to therapy.
That's right.
We definitely need to understand our daily habits creates our future. And if our daily habits create our future, it's gonna mess with our money. If
my. Come on,
depression.
Come on.
And now it's okay to have that because some of us have chemical imbalances. Nicole, you said it earlier. I just did a live last week because you know I haven't been saying this, and I only don't say it because of my son. He wants to have some anonymity, but I told him I gotta tell this story because there's other people out there suffering. And he suffers from bipolar. He just got out the hospital. 54 days. This is the longest one we've ever had. He's had over 450 something hospital days in the past decade. Like his is extreme. But here's the stat with that. He was a 1%er. He was diagnosed when he was 14. It's only 1% of the population of 14 to 18-year-olds that are diagnosed that young. But here's the other part that's with it. 1 out of 5 have suicidal ideations and try to contemplate it. So this, what you're talking about, Nicole, is so important because again, it phases and it goes into our money, it goes into our stability, our family growth, just every single thing. This is such a much needed conversation. But when we know who we are and whose we are, we literally can move through there. And so that's why I love helping people understand what is your personality style so you can impact on that. And I have to constantly remind my son, he's a D, so he's a problem-centered person. That's how he's wired. Well, baby, it's only 12% of the population like you. Use that so you can get your ducks in a row. So I'm done. Y'all got me excited. Paulette got me excited. But that Hebrews 12 is one of my favorite scriptures. We got to understand the soul and the spirit.
Listen,
it's time for soul stuff and it's time for spirit stuff.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
That's right. 100% agree. And again, we're gonna talk about, yes, this is Girl Your Money Matters, right? This is the gym. But when you go in the gym, you don't work just one muscle.
No.
That's right. You better say that today.
You don't go in there and just do this.
Yes.
We're gonna do some of this. We're gonna do some of this. We're gonna do some of this. And that's just at the top. We got to get down to the bottom. But in all of this that we do on the outside is wasteful if we don't also control the inside.
Right.
This is all about life. Because see, when you're laying in the bed, your money might be coming in. So yes, your household is impacted because either you're using up sick leave and that eventually runs out. Or you spending extra money for these extra doctor visits because stress will wear you out. Stress kills. Do you understand that? Stress kills you. It eats you up from the inside, and now your liver don't work right, or your heart is constricted. All of those things. Your blood vessels don't work right. Your blood pressure high. Your cholesterol high. You on this medicine. Let me tell you something. She cutting up. Come on,
girl.
Yeah.
Come on, girl.
I had 15 bottles of medication.
Get out of here. 15?
I had 15 bottles, and they wanted me to take some of them twice a day, some of them once a day. I was like, first of all, I can't even remember what I'm supposed to take and when.
Right.
It was so much medication that I had to go to a facility, send my prescriptions over there to have them pre-packaged.
Wow.
And then I had alarms going off on this. Take your medicine. Take your medicine. Hell to the no. I can't even remember when to take all of this stuff. But you want to know what was happening? I was steady swiping that card to pay for these prescriptions. The co-pays, because last year the co-pay was $25. This year is $30.
Yeah.
But when I was seeing the specialist, that's $40. Okay, and then they want to run a test. I saw the people in the lab to the point, hey, Miss Johnson, that's a damn shame.
Yeah, you know that they know me by name.
Folk in the lab know your name. Yeah, hey, Miss Johnson, and it ain't because of the label. They see your face. Hey, girl, hey. No, we not friends like that. Don't be talking to me that way. Okay. But I was going to, and then I had to have these more expensive scans. I had never in my life heard of anything other than an MRI till they told me I had to get a PET scan. I had to go look the machine up online. And because I'm severely claustrophobic, the nightmare started.
Yeah.
There was pill number 16 because now they got to give me anxiety medicine.
Anxiety, yeah.
And you got to be concerned that all those things ain't working against each other.
Baby, let me tell you.
You talking about a chemical imbalance?
When I saw the oncologist, it was the oncologist and the pharmacist. They both had tablets. I thought I was at NASA because they was. What is y'all doing? Oh, we have to make sure that the right ounce in the medicine and the micrograms and the grams and the percentages over here and here. And plus we have to balance it with your height and your weight. Now y'all need to move out the way so I can get the hell up out of here. Because at one moment I feel like y'all gonna strap me to a table and keep me.
That's right.
Okay, so just imagine all those copays, all that
Wow.
medication, all those different because when you go to the doctor and the insurance don't pay, and then you got the extra scan for this, they only pay so much. That
So
out of
much.
pocket
Yeah.
portion is mine. So they tapping into all of my coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we talk about your mental, your emotional, your physical, it's all tied to
Tied
your
together.
finances.
Yep.
So the hard conversations shall be had.
Come
Mm.
on,
Amen,
somebody. She
amen.
said that.
Yeah.
I gotta get my
What I
family.
said.
I gotta
They
get my
shall
family.
be had.
Right.
You know why?
So, see,
Just grab something. Just grab something. Just grab anything. Just grab something. Just grab something. It don't
And
matter.
listen,
Just grab
I
something.
told you from the beginning, we like to keep it a little bit light because this is
Yeah.
hard for people.
It
And I'm
is.
gonna tell you, the young lady that I talked to, she listening right now. And I gave her some instructions. So I'm gonna give some advice. There's some things I'm gonna tell you, listen, I can't tell you what to do because I can't live with the consequences of my advice to you.
Thank
I can
you.
only tell you what I would do if it were me, but
That's it.
you have to make your choice. But what she was dealing with, I knew she needed some resources that I was aware. I told her, get up, go out, go to the bookstore, Battlefield of the Mind.
Yeah. That's a powerful
Hear
book.
Voices, I need you to read Battlefield of the Mind.
Yep. That's a powerful book.
What
Yeah.
you need to read on Sunday, and then today she better be inboxing me to tell me she called her therapist.
Come on
Because
now.
see, I'm
That's
not
what's
your
up.
therapist. I'm your listening ear,
That's
and I'm
it.
gonna send you somewhere to get the support that you need. Read the
Amen.
book,
Yeah.
get you some help, talk to God and the therapist, and in that order.
Yes.
Amen.
Listen, I have been so wanting to have this conversation, and the month of December recognizes seasonal depression. And
Yes.
so I thought it was so
Mhm.
appropriate because it's one of those taboo topics that we
Mhm.
don't talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
That we don't, it's shame and guilt in it. Baby, ain't no shame in it.
None.
There's no shame.
How can you be ashamed of
There's no
something that
shame in it.
everybody has?
We can't
Right.
have no shame. We either have shame or we get help, but you get to pick. You
Mhm.
get to pick. And so this is an environment, this is a space where you can be safe. Now, if you don't want to speak up out in front of everybody, I totally understand it because we live in a society that's very judgmental.
Thank
Very.
you.
Here's what I'll say. They get on Facebook. We got a bunch of Facebook bullies. I'm your pull-up girl. Don't talk about me on Facebook. Give me an address. Let's sit down, woman to woman, and make sure you bring 2 or 3 to stand in your place. Because
There you go.
I'm not coming to play with you. I'm
No,
gonna
no.
help you win, but we got to define what winning means to you. Okay,
you.
don't internet bully me. Don't even try it.
Absolutely.
But there's an avenue for you to get some help. If you don't know where to go, I used to refer to myself as the community connector. If I don't know, I'm gonna find somebody
I'm
that
gonna
does.
find somebody.
Hold on, let me make it. Hey, what you say, Leanne? Please hold. Let me go on and make a connection, okay? Because we all need help. There's
Yeah.
no shame in asking for help.
No.
Yep.
God created
Yeah.
us. Eve was a what? Helpmate to
Mhm.
Adam.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
in our nature. Oh, this has been a good topic.
I'm trying to told
This
you.
has been
Yes,
a
it
good
is.
topic.
Mm.
This has been a good topic. See, what we're doing tonight is helping to change the narrative for our people.
Yeah.
Because see, some cultures they go out the womb going to the doctor.
Yep.
Mhm.
They 6 years old sitting in therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Come on now, tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Tell the devil. Y'all know
Look,
it.
look, not 6 years old. They in vitro at the therapy.
Yeah.
The mama with the baby.
Yes. Yes.
Putting it on
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Listen,
Yep.
when somebody yell, "Is there a doctor in the house?" They ain't always looking for a medical doctor.
Thank you.
You heard?
Okay.
Thank you. No, I know how to handle this here. I need somebody to help me with this up here.
Did she say the fan club?
Right.
I know that's. Look, I'm gonna go.
Listen.
Look,
Listen,
Next time I'm gonna be ready with my fan too.
get
I
your
know.
man.
I said that I'm gonna get in the fan club.
Okay.
You gotta practice the
You,
part.
right, you
Yes,
gotta have the
sweetie.
right kind of fan.
Yeah.
You gotta make
Y'all
that
are mess.
Listen,
Oh,
you guys,
my
as
God.
always, I always enjoy our conversations, even when they are the hard topics, because
Yeah.
in order to get better, we got to bring them to the forefront for
Yes.
our space. What I want you to remember is this: when you get to a point where you're happy, whole, and healed, ain't that it, Leanne?
better
Come
say that.
on, man. You happy, whole, and healed. I
Yeah.
want you to be for someone else what you needed. This is why I do this.
Yes.
I'm going to be for someone what I needed. Because there was a time when
That's
I
good.
didn't have somebody to talk to, when I didn't have somebody to lean on.
Mm.
So now that I'm in a better position and I now have a platform that was made available to me, I'm going to be to you, Yumi, Bridget, Paulette, Leanne, Tony, and all of the rest of you who are listening. I'm going to be for you what I needed in my life.
Yeah.
That's right.
See, I didn't arrive and just sit back and go,
Mhm.
No, that's not it. I got to turn around and give a hand up so
Right.
somebody else can arrive.
Amen.
Yes.
So
All
thank
right.
you guys so much for being here. Before we go, any closing words? I'm gonna start with you, Leanne.
You know what? Just do what you gotta do to wake up happy every single day. Sometimes that means cutting off some toxic and narcissistic people. Sometimes that
Mhm.
means writing yourself a love letter because you need more love, self-love. Sometimes it is just saying, F this job. I'm taking a mental health day, but find out what makes you happy,
Yeah.
drives you to be your best for you, not for anybody else. They gonna get the residual because when you love yourself, it attracts and it magnifies love to everybody else.
Amen.
But for you, and then hit me up. ThoseSayingLay.com, wakeuphappysis.com. Hit me up. Let me know how you doing.
That's
And
right.
Bridget.
I love it, Leanne. I love that. AA. That was good, sis.
Yes.
I would just say to everybody, don't suffer in silence. Do not suffer in silence. One of my biggest things that I tell people and quote, and it was true for me being an administrator. The parents that came up there making all that noise was the ones who got the attention. And so open up your mouth and express, because a silent mouth cannot be fed. Nobody can understand, but nobody has to suffer, because here's the thing. So many of us go through so many similar things. And then if we don't talk about it, we think we're the only ones. And that's just a trick of the enemy. The enemy wants us to be isolated. But here's the catch. God created everything. He spoke everything into existence, but then he actually created the man and the woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
So guess what? He created teams. He created teams. He created teams. He took time to do that. He spoke everything else into existence. So if he took time to create teams, teams are very valuable.
Absolutely.
So get your team. Get your team. Be a part of, the Nicole Johnson team. Make sure you have a team. Do not be by yourself. No man is an island.
No
Come
man.
on now. Yeah.
Okay, that ain't the word.
Yes. Who? Where the collection play? Where the collection
Now
play?
listen, the doors of the what church is open.
Yes. So DJ Tony, impart your wisdom on us today.
Okay. Once again, as always, man, the information is so valuable and so needed, and I'm glad that we have created a space to where in being uncomfortable, it helps me get healthy. You know what I'm saying? It helps me get healthy, and what I want to say to everybody under the sound of my voice is this. First and foremost, seek the creator. You know what I'm saying? Seek the creator. In all things, the first thing you got to get is an understanding. Get us an understanding of who you belong to,
Yeah.
Once you get that understanding, then you know he imparted in you self-love to where now I love God. Now I got to love me just as much as I love God. Then I'll be a willing vessel to help somebody that comes my way, you
Come
know.
on, sister.
And when you help somebody, don't look for something in return.
See,
You know what I'm saying? Stop expecting something for generosity. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
Do it
absolutely.
because it's the right thing to
To
do,
do.
you know. And as I say always, hey, we all we got. So ain't no better
Mm.
time than right now.
We all we got.
We
Woo!
all we
Oh,
got.
yes.
That's
Paulette.
right. Oh, this was good, y'all.
Yes.
I went to church tonight. Amen.
Amen.
This is where the pastor get up and they say a few words before we say the benediction.
Yeah.
Amen. So listen, Nicole, thank you for this space. And thank you first of all for connecting with brownstoneworldwide.com to be a part of this community. Because you are absolutely changing the narrative on how we are telling our own stories in these internet streets, which is very, very vital and important. Bridget, thank you so much for coming on to Nicole's show this evening and sharing with us your wisdom and knowledge from your perspective. Leanne, as always, Wake Up Happy Sis is where y'all need to go to check her out. I do want to leave you guys with a couple of things. First of all, tonight, after this show airs, of course, we know that we have Marshawn Olanio with her show. It comes up next. It's called Love Restore. So the cool thing about Marshawn's show right now, she's in rotation to actually do replays. So at about 8:15 this evening, you'll be able to listen in and watch her replays as they come through, as they have been coming through, because she's preparing for the upcoming season. So big shout out to Marshawn Olanio for being a part of the Brownstone family as well. And you guys, of course, see, y'all shouldn't have did this, but y'all, two things that I need to definitely let you know about. KCCR Radio and brownstoneworldwide.com is offering 12 days of Christmas story time that is coming up on December 14th through the 25th, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and KCCR, the Brownstone app, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be reading holiday stories just for you and the family. And lastly, if you want your copy of this sucker right here, Brownstone Living magazine, you will go directly to brownstoneworldwide.com and you are going to put in your email information so you can get on our list and get this upcoming magazine. It comes out actually on Wednesday. We want to make sure that you are in line to get your copy. That's all I have. First of all, you guys, thanks again. I'm going to turn it back over to Nicole so you can do our final outs.
Ooh, listen. I wanted to bring Bridget's slide back up and just tell Yumi, don't start with who is bad. Stop it. Stop
I knew somebody was.
it.
I never saw Christmas look that good. Santa ain't never looked that good.
Go sit on Santa's lap.
Yeah, Santa ain't never looked that damn good.
Wait a minute. Hey, look, she up there talking about some in my mind.
Yeah, she didn't replace Friday Night Temptations in my
She
mind.
ain't by herself. Y'all over here. I'm like, y'all better stop that. Y'all know I'm married. No.
I ain't Hazel.
Wait, you the only one on here, Bridget.
Woo, child. Y'all
But I
done
wanted to bring the slide up again. So for those of you who are in the audience, take a picture and find out who you are. Yeah. Find out what motivates you. Find out what is your positive trigger, right? For me, it's scents. It smells. Right. And there was a time period I used to get up every day and tell people what my happy scent was, what I was burning for that day, and what mood it put me in. So take as many small steps as you can to keep yourself motivated. And if that's nothing more than making a phone call to your lifeline.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So make sure you have a circle of people who can be a part of your lifeline. This is Girl Your Money Matters, but everything we talked about tonight has been beneficial to the body and the mind and the soul as a whole.
Yeah.
Because all those things, if one piece breaks down, your money is going to be impacted one way or the other.
Yep.
So this is what I will leave you with as far as I am concerned, the Nicole Johnson. I want to make sure that you understand that the gym is where you can get financially fit, but we look at the person as a whole and take this for food for thought, because something Bridget said made me remember that I told Paulette and Leanne this not too long ago. If you guys want to join the community where you can get more of this on a regular basis, make sure you find the group Girl Your Money Matters on Facebook. But remember this, you cannot receive today's blessings holding on to yesterday's curses.
You better tell somebody.
That part.
I'll say it again. You cannot receive the blessings of today holding on to yesterday's curses.
That's for y'all in the balcony.
Yeah. Do I need to wait a minute? Let me fan it up there. You cannot receive today's blessings holding on to yesterday's curses. Let it go. All right. I love you guys. I thank you guys for tuning in. Guess what? So tonight we were getting all into the emotion and stuff. Well, guess what? Next week, we have another special guest coming on board, Miss Crystal Taylor, to talk about fitness is not a game, boo. So we're going to talk about what are you reading. So now we're going to definitely get into what are you feeding your mind? Drink your water. No, that ain't water in there. Don't ask me what's in my cup. But it's Oh Happy Day. How about that? We'll leave it like that. So we are definitely working on everything to help you get financially fit as a whole. Thank you so much for joining us, because your money matters. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Good night.
Hi, everybody.